Taoiseach, honesty in politics is important, so I'm not going to engage in fake backslapping. I will congratulate you on writing your own speech, which I believe you did. I was a bit bemused at you mentioning Michael Davitt, a revolutionary and a socialist, but we'll leave that aside. In summing up your legacy, Taoiseach, I could focus on 6 years of unprecedented austerity, suffered by the many to bail out the few, or the massive homeless and health crisis that you're leaving in your wake, or indeed the crisis in the Gardaí and in the state. But in the short time I have and the day that's in it, I'll pick one issue that sums up completely the type of Ireland that you and the establishment that you've so ably represented have bequeathed in the 5 decades you've been in the Dáil. And that is the incarceration, internment and imprisonment of a vulnerable, pregnant teenager who asked for an abortion and asked for help. And although we know little of the circumstances, we do know this: a pregnant child shouldn't be forced to have a child. A pregnant child in legal terms is a raped child. A pregnant person best knows how they feel about being pregnant. And Taoiseach, people around the country are comparing this outrage to an episode of The Handmaid's Tale. 25 years ago, this nation rose up at the incarceration of a teenage rape victim, but it's still happening under your watch because you did nothing to make sure it wouldn't happen again. The much-heralded Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act that you and the Labour Party boast about has proven impossible for any suicidal person to access an abortion because they're put through an inquisition, their feelings are ignored and their rights to bodily and mental autonomy are completely ignored. And this happened last year. We do not know what happened to this girl, whether she succeeded in getting an abortion or whether she was basically forced to remain pregnant. Now, Taoiseach, we have a history in this country, it's been mentioned today, of incarcerating pregnant women and girls, and we thought that that era was over. But many people have been outraged at what they found out in the last 24 hours, that a psychiatrist would have the power, with their own views, to section a girl for the crime of wanting not to be pregnant. It seems it's an illness warranting being locked up to want an abortion. Not alone that, Taoiseach, but it appears a judge adjudicated and heard this case and awarded a guardian to the girl and, wait for it, her fetus. Now,
to interfere with any member's contribution today, but I'm afraid you're venturing into territory that is completely at odds with the business that's before us today.
With the legacy of the Taoiseach?
You're talking about a specific case which none of us have full information on. OK, thank you, Ken Corley. I'll bear that in mind. I'm going by the information that we do have, and I'm just generalising now. So, not alone that, Taoiseach, a judge adjudicated on the case, as I said, but Taoiseach, you're going, and what I hope is that the reactionary policies are going with you, that the backwardness that was visited on young people in this country for so many decades will also go. You've had your time. Hopefully we'll have a different time, that the yearning there is for a different type of society, among young people in particular, can be brought about. And in finishing, Taoiseach, I hope that we see a movement now to bring about the separation of church and state and the type of legislation that gives the person involved the right to make this decision for themselves. And hopefully that movement won't take very long. With your new incumbent, we will find out. But I certainly would encourage people to actively ensure that it happens, because we can't trust the people in this Dáil to ensure that these cases don't happen again. On behalf of